Hi, welcome to Barcart Bookshelf, a video series about books and the drinks they inspire. My name is Elias, and today we're talking about No One to Hold the Distant Dead by K.L. Schroeder. No One to Hold the Distant Dead is the penultimate story in the Psychopomp novella series. Longtime viewers of Barcart Bookshelf will know how fond I've been of this small press novella series. Each book focused on the broad topic of death, but filtered in really prismatic lenses from the kind of fairy tale and anthropomorphic journey of Starstruck that we discussed last summer to the really sort of dusty and weird Western archetypal, mean devil lesbian power of Lovely Creatures by K.T. Brisky, which we discussed in August of 2024, one of my absolute favorite novellas of all time. Really great stuff. And unfortunately, making it work in small presses is very hard to do. And so this program is going on indefinite hiatus. And that's a really sad thing. But that does not mean that I am going to be stopping talking about these books and sharing them with all of you, because it's just like such great stories and such great novellas. And so I, even as we're here at the second to last and looking forward to the final of these novellas they're putting out, I would be remiss in my love of this series in not sharing that with you, and in not giving a proper send-off. A topic that really comes to the fore here in No One to Hold the Distant Dead, a novella where funerary rites and the ritual of marking passing is really important, which is to say, it's important everywhere. This is like something that unites us as humans, is our end, but especially so, and especially spotlit in No One to Hold the Distant Dead. It is a science fiction novella set some several hundred years in the future, distant, unknown future. Earth has been terraforming two colonies in distant planets far off. We've got faster than light travel, but we're still inhabiting Earth. Canada is a desert in the time period of No One to Hold the Distant Dead. It's the story of Inga Nystrom, an ecologist, a planetary scientist, who has been essentially psychically teleported to one of these colonies, Nordenmark, which is currently undergoing an ecological collapse. It's playing with this really groovy sort of trope topic in teleportation and science fiction, that being teleported kills you dead, and the person that you are when you arrive someplace else is totally different. They're being, in this setting, essentially like radio beam transmitted into a new body, and then there are complications in that for our character. And we come to this planet of Nordenmark, this Earth colony, and because of prion disease, all of the animals are dying, and that has this like air of mournfulness, because we don't know, are we going to get replacements from Earth? This is something that you can beam a single person into like a new artificial, vat body, essentially. But you can't do that with like the deer and goats and birds that you need to actually have a functioning ecosystem. And so you have this wonderful bit of eco-fiction and mournfulness and problem solving and grief and transformation. It's really a lovely sort of of novella, in marking the passage of things in this preoccupation on the part of the colonists, the long-term inhabitants, the generational, really, inhabitants of this community with death and with the end of the world. Characters who take their names from mythological figures associated with death and destruction in the underworld. And through it all, this fear of losing oneself, of having gone on this journey of unimaginable cosmic distance to solve a problem, and being faced with like the overwhelming weight of that problem, especially when you have lost parts of yourself in translation. It's really just palpable sort of science fiction. And so we had to have a drink. Our drink today is the Godhavn, named for the city, town sort of area in which the majority of our story is set. And we're going to begin by washing the inside of the glass with a little bit of absinthe. We just want to splash in there because we want it to coat the rim of the glass, like so. Lovely anisey liqueur, sort of very sharp. Ooh. And we want to sort of coat the rim of the glass, but not spill onto our surface as I did. I am using today the Lucifer absinthe, made in Chicago, Illinois. It's really good. It's strong. It's 66.6% alcohol by volume. It seems appropriate for a book about death and concerned with gods of death. But of course, use whatever absinthe you have on hand. This, though, if you're in the Chicago area or their wider distribution network, is definitely worth seeking out. I've really been enjoying it lately. So we've coated our glass with the absinthe. We'll set that aside, and we will build the rest of our cocktail in our shaker tin. I'm going to start with 2 1/4 ounces of cachaça. We have this sort of juxtaposition there in Nordenmark of like greenery and lushness and weeds, and then also like the chill and the cold and the weight and the frosty freeziness of it. And so this cachaça is going to bring a lot of that like green, lush grassiness to our cocktail. That's one of the things I really love in cachaça, this Brazilian sugarcane spirit, this style of rum. It's that wonderful, potent, green smell, very vegetal and grassy. And to that we will add 3/4 of an ounce of grenadine, pomegranate syrup, suitable for the dead, and we have this sort of reddish, syrupy anise liqueur that's being served in a bar here in Godhavn. And so between our grenadine, our pomegranate syrup, very Haitian underworld, we'll add a couple of dashes of Peychaud bitters, which are made with rosehip, anise, that sort of aromatic bitters like Angostura, but a little bit lighter, a little bit brighter, and that wonderful red quality, that wonderful anise quality. Our drink ends up being sort of somewhere between a Sazerac and a Caipirinha. And so just really sort of rich and dark fruit, but also bright and vegetal rum. And we'll add our ice. We always add our ice last, because we just talk and talk here on Bar Cart Bookshelf, and we don't want to end up with a watery cocktail. You're going to want to use crushed ice for this. And let our glass, our tins, get frosty freezy. Lovely, lovely. Give that a stout tap. Whoop. There we go. Perfect. And then we'll strain that into our prepared glass, like so. Perfect. And we'll top it with some fresh crushed ice. There you go. And there you have it. This is the Godhavn, inspired by No One to Hold the Distant Dead by K.L. Schroeder. No One to Hold the Distant Dead is available now. I've got a link to snag it in the description down below. A huge thank you to Psychopomp for their love of Barcart Bookshelf. I have such a deep affection for this novella series. I really encourage people to check them out. They are excellent. Every book that I have read from Psychopomp has just been fantastic, been a real treat for me. We've got a link to purchase my book, Cocktails and Consoles, 75 Cocktails and Mocktails to Level Up Your Game Night. If you're looking to make grenadine the way I do at home, we've got a recipe for that in my book. We've got links to various forms of social media, including Blue Sky and Instagram, where there's always a written version of today's recipe. Try the drink. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Hit that like button. It makes me so happy when you do. Subscribe if you haven't already so you never miss an episode. We've got some really great books we're going to be talking about as we round into the back half of February, into March, into April, into May. Stacks on stacks on stacks of really excellent books, and I can't wait to share them with all of you. So, until next time, cheers.